Hey everybody, welcome to the Anthony and Todd Show. I'm your host Trevor. I'm here with my boys Jonathan and Vincent. Today we're going to be going over the best top 50 songs of the year. There's been a lot of good stuff. We're going to talk for 50 minutes about Pissy, Pamper, and then we're going to move on to the rest of the songs.
There's so many great songs this year that we couldn't fit it to a top 50 list, so we have some honorable mentions. First of all, we have the unreleased track that's either known as Playboi Carti's Cudi or Pierre Bourne's and Young Nudy's Pissy Pampers, one of the best sketches of a song I've heard all year. Just truly innovative how Carti's hooks work. We have Charli Bradley's posthumous track Lucifer. We have DaBaby's Bop, Sandy Alex G's Gretel, Kevin Abstract's Baby Boy, and Local Natives' When I'm Going to Lose You. We're going to try to rush the first 40 of these, but we may end up failing. Hopefully not. And we're going to go in depth on the last 10. So take it away.
All right, at number 50, we got YBN Cordae's R&P featuring Anderson .Paak. YBN Cordae really stays up to steam with the unattainable charisma of Anderson .Paak on R&P. Their chemistry is just undeniable. Comes across as one of the greatest R&B hip-hop tracks of the year.
At number 49, King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard, that's let's say fast, bring us a synthetic mix of psychedelia and blues rock on the locomotive-like Psy Boogie.
All right, at number 48, we got Earth Gang with Proud of You. They team up with Young Thug to create a really catchy hip-hop track of the year. I really think Earth Gang is going places here.
At number 47, Jack Stalbert manufactures one of the most annoying and strange pop songs of the year with Baby Hotline, an extension of one of his micropop tracks. Really showcases why I feel like he's kind of embracing the bizarre, eclectic energy and atmosphere of like an old Residents album.
Number 46, Rico, Nasty, Kenny Beats, and Earth Gang get together to construct a manically bouncy banger on big titties.
45, Carly Rae Jepsen is a buoyant and a lovely synth-pop ballad, Everything He Needs. It's a great track.
Number 44, we got Z Loopers with Bigger Than Me. He's super humble and humanized, talking about his childhood and how he felt like all of his problems and people and surroundings are all way bigger than him.
And his dad's pants.
His dad's pants are fucking huge. We even got a comment from Z Loopers himself on that one specific line. And I just love how offbeat and kind of nasally this is and how he grew out of those experiences.
Number 43, we have what Trevor's friend described as a religious experience. 2 Chainz creates one of the most hyped songs of the year while being off-kilter and hilarious, discussing how black men are limited in finding ways to get success on NCAA. Hip-hop needs more group vocals. I've said that all year. Take it away, Trevor.
Also, that guitar solo is top notch.
He plays with the clit like a guitar.
Just fucking shred. At number 42, we've got Mr. Motherfucking Esquire coming back from his long hiatus with guns blazing on one of the best beats of the year from Contrabas on Pink Champagne. I love this track.
Number 41, Maxo Cream reflects on how mass incarceration has affected the people around him on the song Meet Again.
You wrote mass incineration.
Everyone's just ablaze.
Burning.
Mass incarceration, it's a letter to his friends who are incarcerated.
Number 40, Hobo Johnson gets a brand new Subaru Crosstrek and discusses how cars can be used to make up for fragile masculinity over just a great, probably his most banging track on that album with Subaru Crosstrek 15.
At number 39, Mac DeMarco realizes he can't go back to his pre-fame days on the song Nobody.
At number 38, Tropical Fuckstorm tells the story of a codependent couple where one person is ready to leave but is still in love while the other person is not in love. But depend on the other person out of fear of finding nothing else. That's a long ass fucking sentence.
Yeah, I know.
For me. It's all over a great psych post-punk element, great like beat switches and change-ups, and really eclectic like just songwriting.
On the track Paradise.
Yeah, on Paradise.
On number 37, Oliver Tree perfectly blends electropop and hip-hop, creating one of the most truly hysterical experiences on the track Fuck.
At number 36, experimental rock band Black Midi creates extravagant and twangy mishmash on the song Talking Heads.
At number 35, Doja Cat and Rico Nasty blend perfectly like the hip-hop version of Sister Sister on the track Tia Tamera.
At number 34, UK MC Little Sims is fatal and disgruntled on a track with one of the best beat switches of the year. Of course, I'm talking about the song Venom.
At number 33, Lil Nas X takes his TikTok meme song to the mainstream market on the undoubtedly fun Old Town Road, the remix with Billie EIlish, which I feel like only perfects this country hip-hop collaboration.
At number 32, Vampire Weekend still sound the same after being away for 6 years on the absolutely beautiful and grand Harmony Hall.
Number 31, Show Me the Body creates an electric, scratchy, and just heavy, catastrophic, hardcore punk track with USA Lullaby.
At number 30, Dorian Lecture is utterly flamboyant and inescapable while explaining that we're all God's gifts and we shouldn't patronize each other for being different on the track Adam and Steve.
On track, or at number 99, Denzel Curry pays tribute to his father at the absolute banger of a track, Ricky, with great influence from like his like Miami hip-hop scene.
Carol City scene.
Influencing the productions.
Yeah.
Number 28, 21 Savage teams up with J. Cole with actually a decent feature here to reflect on his rise to fame and the hopeful ambition to stay the same on the track a lot.
At number 27, Clipping references the bloodlust as it relates to racism and the mistreatment and abuse of African Americans on the song Blood of the Fang.
Number 26, Flume curates, I don't know, is that supposed to be pronounced Howls or HW?
I actually have never had to say his name before.
I'm going to say Holes. Howls.
Curates Holes and Slow Tide to create a blizzard-like and glitchy high beam. Glitzy. I hate that word.
Blizzard-like.
What?
I said it is kind of blizzard-like.
Yeah,
like that's good. At number 25, James Blake has really paranoid his relationship and question if it's all too good to be true, while also incorporating the help of Andre 3000, who brings one of his best verses since Class of 3000 on Where's the Catch.
At number 24, Charli XCX tells the QC story of being shy around a significant other due to their love. Lizzo's featured and adds a ton of charm and fun to the track. Of course, I'm talking about the track Blame It On Your Love.
Number 23, JPEG Mafia is unapologetically himself, basically breaking down the walls of toxic masculinity over some really pretty piano melodies, frail autotune, and heavy hip-hop lyricism on the song Jesus Forgive Me, I Am a Thought.
Well, probably one of the best track titles this year.
I love his track titles. They're so
Basic
funny.
Bitch, Tear Gas.
It's just a cover of No Scrubs. Don't tell
What
anybody.
was the other really good one? Oh, as Grimy Wife.
He's so good at coming up with like good track names.
At number 22, Flying Lotus takes on a funky nightclub in hell full of a disorienting and gelatinous performance from George Clinton on Burning Down the House.
At number 21, Zach Fox makes Kenny Beats cringe on one of the best comedy songs in recent memory on Jesus Is the One, I Got Depression.
I still think they need that deleted lyric, the one about the Jews.
Oh, yeah.
Number 20, Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas cook up a strangely addictive pop tune unlike anything else on the radio right now, full of whispering snaps and earth-shattering bass on Bad Guy. What an incredible break in the mainstream music,
Yeah.
personally, I think.
Number 19, Rhapsody and the Ninth Wonder blend together a soulful, nasally, and frail hip-hop experience featuring Legends Giza. Is it Giza?
Giza.
Giza. And
You're like Big Sean. You can't name all the Wu-Tang members.
Get out of here.
And pay tribute to Olympic fencer
Ibtihaj, I think.
Yeah, I think that's how it's pronounced. Muhammad and sampling and interpoing Giza's liquid swords on the track Ibtihaj.
So it's
hope that's how it's pronounced.
physical swords and liquid swords.
Gaseous swords.
At number 18, Lizzo's Pass the Torch by Missy Elliott in the bold and body positive banger that is Tempo.
At number 17, David Berman truly finds beauty in suffering on the Purple Mountains track All My Happiness Is Gone, a song with luscious, hazy scents and a ghostly presence that follows the track in the corresponding album after his passing earlier this year. Rest in peace, David Berman.
Number 16, Maryland MC IDK, formerly known as JIDK, brings one of the most eclectic songs of the year with this really sexually charged track, Porno, featuring some great performances from Pusha T and JID. This track is constantly evolving. I just love it.
I don't think I could have told that the song was sexually charged based on the title. Thank you for pointing it out.
I never
to me.
would have had any idea.
At number 15, FKA Twigs comes through with a heartbreaking piano ballad on the track Cellophane about having a relationship in the public eye and how that can affect the downfall or an end of relationship.
Number 14, Justin Vernon and company craft a nostalgic and melancholic masterpiece with the helps of legends Moses Sumney, Bruce Hornsby, and the Brooklyn Youth Chorus, who are not really legends, but
You said legends.
I know
That was your own
Brooklyn
corporation.
Youth Chorus are not legends, but they could be someday. And they portray a very soul-stirring vision of poverty in America on the Bon Iver track "You Man Like."
That's also you next.
Oh, yeah, whoops. Number 13, the trio of Freddie Gibbs, Madlib, and Anderson .Paak, once again, on the track Giannis, is a match made in hip-hop heaven. It is so addictive and catchy and bouncy. One of the most effortless and comfortable performances you'll hear all year. Just oozing of charisma from Pac and Gibbs over top of the legendary masterclass production from Madlib. What a great trio.
Yeah. Number 12, Northampton from Northamptonshire, because that's apparently a real place. MC Slow Tie has all of his eccentricities on full display on the track Crack, which has the absolute greatest opening line, possibly of all time. I love you like a crackhead loves
Wait,
crack.
can you say it like
You didn't
Slow
say
Tie?
it right.
I love you like a crackhead loves crack. Crack, crack. And then at number 11, Alex Cameron produces a warm pop rock ballad on the track Far From Born Again. Pretty much just deconstructing the way people view sex work and how like it's not really anyone's business if that's how people make their money. You know, they can do what they want. People get to live their own lives. And It's just a great, warm, well-made track. Just great themes and meanings.
That's it. We're at the final 10. We rushed
Wow.
it pretty quickly. I'm proud of us. Good
We
job,
did
team. So, number 10.
Just gonna introduce it.
I was just going to let you
Okay,
do
I'll just do
number 10.
Woo! Quelly Chris's Straight Shot featuring Cavalier, James Ancaster, Elder Jengarov, and Bilal Salam. This is just a beautifully crafted track, and it goes on for like maybe 5 minutes or so, but I just think that every square inch of this track is just used to its fullest potential. Quelly Chris kind of puts aside some of his kind of quirkiness a little bit to deliver a really passionate ode for desperation and hope. It's produced by Chris Keys and Quelly Chris. Chris Keys worked with Quelly on his last album, or last two albums.
His last
as well.
couple of albums he was on.
A long time collaborator, but I think he does beautiful work. There's a really poignant choir and terrific performance by Bilal on the hook, as well as Quelly's vocals. I think have really been honed here as well. I think he sings really beautifully, and then a really great piano solo by Elder Jengarov as well.
Yeah, I think this thing is just beautifully mashed out. The terrific outro, which is who are you? Who am I? What do you want from me? Kind of talking about, at least in my interpretation of it, it seems like because this album's heavily about guns, it's kind of how victims of gun violence are kind of questioning why this event kind of happened.
Yeah.
And not even gun violence, but other like crimes could be saying the same, like mugging or robbery, same influence. Number 9, we got one of the strangest songs I have heard all year with Hey You Little Piss Baby, 100 gecs with Money Machine. 100 gecs is the team up of Dylan Brady and Laura Les. It has this terrific world-shattering bass, tangy synths, nauseously sweet auto-tune, just disgustingly sweet. Like I feel like I'm putting an entire like pack of fruit gushers in my mouth at once, and like the ooze from the gushers is overflowing.
Just straight up snorting pixie sticks.
That sounds better than too much gusher ooze. I don't like the goose and ushers. It creeps me out.
That's fair.
Creeps you out.
Like it's
Like the way it's like, because it's solid and then you bite it and just like squirts all in your mouth.
It's always
Would you eat a gusher with water in it?
no.
Would that
That
help you to stay hydrated?
Are you talking about those like water balls that they sell now? So you don't. They give them at marathons, so you don't have to like throw away cups.
I don't know what you're talking about, but that sounds kind of cool.
They make these like little, it's basically like a gusher, but it's filled with water, so when you're riding a marathon, you don't have to like grab a cut and like drink it. You can just grab it, toss it in your mouth, and just bite it. It's like a cyanide capsule, but for water.
Ooh, what do you do with like the skin?
The film you thrown on the road
It's like
biodegradable.
you can eat it.
No, you don't.
Why would you want to?
You can eat it, but you can throw.
You can also just like spit
because
it
it's
out.
biodegradable.
Yeah, but you can eat it if you want to. It's like shrimp tails. You can eat them if you want to.
I would never.
You can eat them if you want to. We got it.
You could throw your shrimp tails behind.
But what's so great about the song is I think it's the current deconstruction of pop and where it's going in the future, because we had some acts like Charli XCX that were very experimental this year. We had like weird deconstructions of pop this year. Like Lil Nas X was very strange.
Billie Eilish as well.
Billie Eilish is very strange. Caroline Polachek, Dorian Electra. There's just so many great records that can go into like art pop or avant pop or even like deconstruct the genre a little bit. I think this is probably where it's going in the future, where the point it's going to be the loudest it's ever been. It's going to be the most annoying and the most big, but also the most catchiest. This song is unescapable in my head. The hook, the money machine, just that being said over and over again.
Yeah.
The sweetness to it. It almost kind of has a boy band element, which very like made sense when they started touring with Brockhampton.
Yeah. Especially in the chorus. Also, the masculinity, I feel like, of like having a big truck is such a weird like flex on somebody. The synths are like really twangy. They remind me of like a country ballad when it starts out.
This thing's so digital, but it's still so twangy, which it just confuses me.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this track. I've been listening to it a lot lately.
This thing is like the best type of annoying.
Yes.
This and Jack Stopper. Moving on to number 8, we have Pumpkin Attack on Mommy and Daddy by Shushu. Shushu goes forward into a more electronic phase with a ton of audio clips being sampled throughout, which I can only assume is Angela CO of the second member under JB Stewart being kind of sampled throughout in this weird way. It kind of reminds me of the concept of like memory and how these bunch of these weird ideas are just flashing into focus and kind of just going away. It just seems very surreal, very unexpectable. It's loud, thumpy. It has the significant drums that made a lot of this portion of this album so incredible, just so sporadic and insane and earth-shattering. I just found this track to be super incredible in just how it deconstructed its own self, and Shushu keeps on pushing boundaries they really haven't pushed yet.
Yeah, on a whole album that like sees Shushu like pushing their sound in like a very like heavier, more aggressively like counterintuitive to music like way. 'Cause they've always done that, but like this is the most extreme they've ever gone. If it this album or track still manages like to stand out as like the most like beautifully grating and disgusting track on the album.
Yep. At number 7, we have Earthquake by Tyler Creator. You gotta say it like that.
Welcome to Earthquake.
Earthquake. There's an earthquake. Tyler Creator gets together Playboi Carti, Charli Wilson, and Jesse Wilson, and his vocals have improved so much. Like, he's found the ways.
Playboi Carti, he really has. I'm proud of him.
No, but like Tyler's found the way, because Tyler has a very deep and like gritty voice, and it's just very like nasty at times when he really lets it. But he's found a way to like really improve his singing and really work himself in, almost as a curator, but also as a performer, which is really worth. Like basically fixing both ends and creating one of the most like heartbreaking and moving songs of the year. This thing has just so much glitter to it. It's so polished, it's so smooth. Charli Wilson and Jesse Wilson on the background just fits so well, brings so much momentum and like ode to it. Like, it just feels so momentous and just huge. Playboi Carti's features a nice breakup in the track, even though it's more of a traditional Playboi Carti, but there's nothing wrong about that.
No, I think it just adds to the verse, truthfully. I think that his verse stuck right in the middle of that just heightens the track. I think it also breaks up kind of the monotony of Tyler's vocals.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know, adds a little bit of spice in there.
And then also the like pull back into reality at the end, where you get Tyler's unpitched vocals, and then you get like him like hitting his chest with the percussion. Is super cool how it like ties it back to reality. It's so insane. And apparently this track was written back in 2017 and was offered to Justin Bieber and Rihanna, and neither of them took it.
Thank God.
And
I can't imagine who would have taken that spot, like who would have been the feature, or if they just would have sung it. Like, maybe we would have known what he was saying, but now we'll never know.
And number 6.
Do I have to do it now?
Yeah, you have to do it now.
Okay. Oh.
That's really accurate.
I studied
We have
that.
Slauson Malone with Trouble featuring Medhen and yeah, this thing is incredible. Apparently, I found out that the sample at the beginning, the groan that Trevor just did, is he took Lee Moses's "California Dreaming" and just stretched it out.
He could have just asked me to do it.
But this thing is completely hazied. It's faded. Has repetition of just the word "trouble" by this choir. Very beautiful.
That's just one person.
I thought it was a choir.
They'll add some, like, I think they put him over himself. They like harmonize him over himself sometimes.
I couldn't tell if it was a sample.
I'm pretty sure it's like
I think it's one sample of somebody saying that and then stretching it out and pitching it, and then like they'll put him over himself. You know how Kendrick does to like harmonize with himself? They do that like at some points.
Yeah. Well, Medhound is the feature, and he's completely buried in the mix, like excellently. Like he's not supposed to be like a crucial feature of this track. He's more just supposed to be like a texture that's kind of there, and like he's just buried in this like very dreamlike, picturesque place. I just think this thing's completely beautiful.
It's a very beautiful track, and the themes of the album, where like the album is dealing with like cultural like oppression and like the history of oppression throughout like America and like history. It beautifully captures just the sorrow of it, but like still capturing like the beauty that like of the like resistance to it, like all in one like beautiful track that can pretty much compress like all of the elements of this album that make it beautiful like into one track, and it's this one.
Yeah.
At number 5, is it sweet in here, or is it just this song? We have Brockhampton's "Shook."
That was about stupid.
I have diabetes, and now I need my insulin.
My dad has insulin. Do you want it? It's in the fridge.
Shots of insulin.
Just shoot it in your mouth. This track features Ryan Beatty. It's produced by Ramal Hamnani and Jabbar. And Matt Champion shouts me out.
Wow.
He says, "Yeah, back on Vincent with the braces on." That's obviously an allusion to me.
Yeah, clear.
Because I have no idea.
Braces.
I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. So I'm assuming it's just gonna be me. It's gonna be me. But yeah, on here, Brockhampton feels full without all members having a spot on the track. Joba and Marilyn don't appear. Some of my favorite, those two have been my favorite members in recent memory. They're not on here, but it feels so much full, even adding a feature of Ryan Beatty.
Yeah.
It just feels like a complete mix. It feels like they truly have found the next step in their career with this maturation of boy band aesthetic, mixing hip hop and this very sweet tooth pop.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking about this morning. Like, I think that Brockhampton has always wanted to kind of be like more of a boy band, and they finally I think they're finally at the point in their career where they can fully embrace that, and their fans will go along with it. Because like there's still like a lot of rapping. It's very like hip hop heavy, but like tracks like Sugar really take that like singing aspect into account. Like Ryan Beatty might as well be a full-time member at this point, because he's on tons of different tracks, like doing some really beautiful vocals. I love this song. I think that it just like throws back to that like 90s pop kind of aesthetic. And I think if this would have come out like 25 years ago, it would have been number one immediately, like on the radio. But I don't know. I love this sweet tooth energy that they have, and I can only hope that they continue to like go in that direction.
Yeah. Moving over, or not moving forward, but going over some of their maturation and this like pop styling. You got like tracks on Saturation 2 where like Bareface and Kevin were doing this like glitzy, shimmering aesthetic.
Yeah, but it was only on like a couple of tracks.
And then you had Saturation 3 with Bleach, which was like a huge moment. And then Iridescence, it was like off at times. At times it seemed like too cheesy at moments.
Yeah.
And then you had tracks like Tanya, which were like pure amalgamation of what it should be, and this feels like it's just a full aesthetic. It feels like they found out the curation, they found out they're back on stable ground, and they feel like they're just kind of moving forward in where Iridescence kind of felt like a step backwards at times.
Yeah, this is like taking those like softer elements from like all their previous albums and like finally fully establishing them, like not just as like a weird like switch up, like as an actual like part of the band moving forward.
At number 4, we have one of the best songs of the year. One of my most listened Spotify.
Top 10, I guess.
We had my most listened to song on Spotify. Kara J. Callanan. The whole
Good
moon.
Kieran
J. Callanan covers The Water Boys. And this album and this song alone has a story. So it's from a record called Return to Center, and the whole entire concept of that album was it was made in a 15-day return policy period of buying all the instruments and recording equipment from Guitar Center. This song was recorded in one day. I'm assuming it was probably mixed afterwards, but the fact that they took the cover of the Waterboys, a song that was it was big, but it was like a live crowd environment. But it wasn't like, it was big because they like actually depicted a space. This is huge in a different context. This is like cosmically big. It's a different type of big, and Kieran's charisma stands out way more than the Waterboys. This is a song that's better than the original. Charisma's like cheesiness, his awkwardness, his like frailness really works in his benefit on this.
Yeah.
Creating just one of the most beautiful pop songs I heard all year. It has sonically sharp guitars and synths and this very popping percussion. I just find it to be completely beautiful and absolute banger.
I think the good comparison for saying like how like big it is, like it's kind of sounds like the scale and like the size of like a David Bowie like pop song.
Yeah.
Like when he was like at his like most pop and like big, but like still good. And it's just, it has like that gravitas and that weight and just that sense of scale that like you don't get a lot of anymore.
Yeah, and I think the music video for it fits that like dreamlike aesthetic with him wearing that like white fit and like dancing around like almost like it's a ballet. I think that fits like a perfect picturesque space for this song.
Yeah. Oh, did you mention its interpolation?
Oh! The reason this song is truly my number 4 is because it features an interpolation of Bruce Hornsby's "That's the Way It Is" with the keys at the end. Do 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 do.
I think that's such a fun like shout out. I seriously like. I'm not a huge fan of Kieran J. Callahan, but I think this track was just incredible. I've been listening to it way more than I ever thought I would this year. His, like you said, like he just takes up so much space. He's so loud and so like just takes up the track. A couple of weeks ago, I heard that somebody else, like some other artist, covered this exact same song, and I was just like, why would you even bother? What's the point of even bothering with covering this? Because I don't think this cover will ever be top.
Playing the original anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Moving forward, 1, 2, 3. Me, Trev, and Jay doing the 3-man weave.
Are you ready?
Yeah. At number 3 of Injury Reserve with 3-man weave.
Excellent. This is my most listened to song on Spotify. I knew it would be. From the moment I heard it, I just could not get enough. 3-man weave is a reference to like the basketball passing drill with some really great saxophone work on here. Injury Reserve, I'm like weirdly proud of them. They're seriously like one of my favorite groups out there right now. Maybe of all time. I absolutely love what they're doing. I think that this being the end of their last album was just a really like triumphant moment where they finally realized like we've made a major label debut, like we're making a niche for ourselves, like we are carving our little niche in the industry, and that I think that they have perfected it down to this basketball passing drill. Like they don't have to do like a lot of features, like big name features to get big. I love some of these lyrics on here. On the hook, they say, "When I was too pretentious for some Migos, then Fonte made a song with Lil B, though."
Did you know that song features Jean Grey on it?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I did. And then later, they're talking about basketball and their experience with basketball, and they say, "See me, I hooped a little, but shit, I was JV and rap parallels. I was like Russ Decent."
And then
later goes on to say, like, if I was on the team, I would have got kicked off for kneeling.
Yeah.
Like, I love their references and like how real they are on this track. Talking about like how they don't really like the rap landscape now. They don't really like trap music, but they are learning to overcome that and learning to find their own audience like based on the things that they're doing instead.
Yeah, and also I love how effortless this collaboration feels. Like these three feel like they're meant to be together. They just feel like the 3-man weave metaphors in full force on here.
Yeah.
I think Parker's production is great. I think Steppa's humor on how his uncle, I believe it's his uncle, bought him like
gave him basketball lessons or bought him basketball lessons, but he sucked. So he was like, "Sorry, I quit."
But like their humor and taking the approach of how they found going from something they weren't good at to something they're actually good at, I think it's just very wholesome, and I think it's their truest moment on here. I think it's a really nice moment because their self-titled record is very confused at times, and theme-wise, because it's like the idea of confusion.
Yeah.
And this was a nice like moment where they have clear heads and I feel like they're progressing forward. And it seems, again, you said triumphant.
I think it's the most traditional track on there. Like other choices, we could have gone with like Jawbreaker or Jailbreak the Tesla, Chrono Lime. Like there are a lot of really great moments on here, but 3-man weave I find to be like the most compelling and the most effortless.
Yeah.
Based on that.
At number 2, Jonathan, are you a civil servant?
Thank God, no.
Are you simple servant?
Are you the middle class man? Because if so, Sleeper Mods is coming after you.
You're done.
And number two.
I've successfully dropped. I was middle class, then I moved out. I got a job. Now I'm lower class. I'm successfully off of their radar.
Now you can make punk music.
At number two, we have Richard Dawson with Civil Servant.
This probably would have been my number one listened to track if it hadn't come out like so late in the year, so I didn't have enough time to listen to it.
What was your number one listen track?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I honestly, because like I looked at what it was. I think it was like Constantinople by the Residents, because like I just listened to that like randomly because I just find it.
They might be giants.
That's what I thought it was at first.
It's like, what?
But yeah, so like if this had come out earlier, it probably would have been my favorite. I love this track. I love everything about it. I love the way that it's able to incorporate like the basic like plain plucking structure of like medieval minstrel loop music, but like with this like electronic suffocating like guitar, to where it can just combine like basically like a Swans era, like early Swans-esque like overwhelming like darkness with like
Picturesque beauty
and like a hero
Fantasy?
ballad.
Yeah.
But like making it about like some like poor schmuck who hates his job and fantasizing of being his coworkers to death.
Yeah, it's all about the woes of having to work every day of your life, and just how you hate your coworkers. Also, how the people around you are losing their disability services.
It's like set up like I've looked into like a lot of like the political context around the song because I just love it so much. I want to understand like every aspect of it, and basically the guy who's working this is somebody who works for like the disability service of like Britain. That's like his job as like his civil servant. And Britain just did this recent thing where like they changed like how their disability works, and because of it, like a lot of people are going to lose their disability. And basically, it's just the horror of like basically being in a job where you have to tell these people that like your livelihood is going to be non-existent now, and there's fuck all I can do about it.
Yeah.
And it's just, it captures the horror of like basically just being like a cog in a capitalistic system that you have no control over, having to watch the horrors of it firsthand and like deal with the people face to face, whereas the people who cause these horrors have no like they don't see this firsthand, and you're just stuck doing this day in and day out until the point where you're probably just going to break and snap and just quit or like attack one of your coworkers because of just how like they don't give a shit anymore and how disgusting they are, and just like the constant drive to just give up and quit even though you know you really can't because you still have to provide for yourself.
That was very depressing.
It is very depressing.
But you know it's not very depressing?
This next song.
The hybrid telling you, try again. Number one's Danny Brown with Dirty Laundry, the Q-Tip produced beat. Danny Brown is the best version of himself, even though I think his latest album isn't his best album to date. I think currently he's just cementing his spot as a legend of the hip-hop industry, and this track cements it. This track, the concept of it is a very MF Doom, Bismarcky approach to concept writing, taking a very villainous character and cementing the whole entire story around lines and the idea of laundry. This thing has the best quotables to it. Once got a hoe and got money for the room, so we did the Humpty Hump in a Burger King bathroom. On the net, made a fat white bitch named Helen, 300 pounds, maybe more like 280, had a couple babies, 2'7", give or take it. Just like his quotables on this thing are completely infectious. He's completely unavoidable. The references constantly to various types of laundry, like why try throw bleach in your eye, put your life on the line, hang them out to dry, try to keep my hands clean, out here riding dirty, shit get messy, mop them up with a 30, high tide, getting off the Arm & Hammer, swim towards the current system, try to drown me, stain your record like her locks and docks, spin cycle had 4 tops for 1. That's just brilliant. That is just like picture perfect, picturesque style writing. Just like all the references are on point. It's thematically brilliant. It's so fun. It's so insane. Q-Tip brings Danny Brown such a retro faded beat that works so well. It sounds exactly like a Tribe Called Quest beat, which I didn't think Danny Brown would be able to fit over because his style is just so strange.
But it works well.
And this is just an insane song. I can't say anymore. I think it's just super quotable, super brilliant. I think the thematic elements to it is just insanely fun. I think this is just a great track and one that cemented my entire year. Yeah, I really enjoyed this.
It's a nice counter to how depressing Civil Servant is.
And is that it?
I think that's it.
I think that's all 50 plus extra.
Actually, our number 0 song is Bruce Hornsby's That's the Way It Is. Until next time, guys, I'm Vincent.
I'm Trevor.
I'm Jonathan.
And see you tomorrow with our 50 best albums. Boyos.
Boyos.